Dolphins are actually an iconic species in Perth, so we're just absolutely lucky to see these animals in the Swan River every day.
I can come here and I can actually see them in the wild and put what I've learned into practice and really appreciate what we've got here in the Swan River in Perth. We're so lucky to have them right on our doorstep.
I love spending time with my daughter Em, and as well as that I get to collect data which is hopefully going to help conserve the species.
It's a joy to walk along the river and see the river clean and sparkling and look at the wildlife above as well as below the river.
What I love about dolphin watching is the fact that I'm out in the fresh air, I'm usually getting exercise, and when you see a dolphin and you get up close and personal to it, it's just so exciting to see it.
We go out crabbing along the river and then we see the dolphins, we can pull the boat in, we can watch the dolphins, it's beautiful.
We have more than 900 volunteers. It's the River Guardians Dolphin Watch program. And these volunteers are absolutely amazing. So they basically are all these eyes on the river. And through having lots of eyes, they're able to collect information on the behaviour and the movements of dolphins. And they're key in actually calling and reporting injuries and entanglements.
Volunteers are so important. The volunteers at Dolphin Watch help me in a huge way. Information that can be gathered is so different to the information collected through traditional forms of research.
The Dolphin Watch app makes it a lot easier too. When you see any dolphins, you can actually record the activities, what the dolphins are doing. You can upload it straight away if you want to, so the data will go through and it goes towards helping out for a really great project.
We've got our eyes on the river all the time, and it's always just a great thrill to see the dolphins. I'm always thrilled to see the photographs afterwards and try and pick out which dolphin is which.
Basically with this, everyone can try to identify each dolphin using their dorsal fin and all the niche and notch that they will have. So in the last 2 months we had 2 new carp, for example, and this is really enjoyable things to watch. But we also have to remember that calf mortality, it's really high, especially in the first 6 months. So it's kind of like a critical time, especially in summertime where there is a lot of boats around, a lot of people fishing.
They live within this amazing environment, and actually it's quite an urbanised environment. And these dolphins just come right in within the CBD area.
So this is a theodolite. It's traditionally a surveying instrument. You might have seen them by the side of the road on construction sites, but we can use it for tracking dolphins. So we can see how the animals are behaving here, how they're using the different areas, what their movement patterns are like. But we can also use the theodolite for tracking boats. So we can link this up with underwater levels of noise and then see how the dolphins might be responding to that noise or the presence of the boats.
So these dolphins are also living with all these boats that we use, of course, on a recreational basis, as well as part of our infrastructure, and there's lots of underwater noise as well.
One of the ways I'm trying to study the dolphin acoustics in the Swan River is by putting acoustic noise loggers throughout the river system. And I'll be measuring the acoustics from those to try and see what the soundscape, the underwater soundscape is like for our dolphins. I've also got a handheld hydrophone that I can take to particular spots of interest, lower it down to the water and listen to all the noise that's happening under there. The Swan River is actually a surprisingly noisy environment. There's obviously a lot of natural noise already in the river, but there's also a lot of human noise coming to the river, and one of the main sources of that is from motorised vessels. So there's about 55,000 registered recreational boats around the Perth area, and that's not counting all the transport ferries, work boats, cargo ships down in the Fremantle port. One of the things we really recommend boat owners to do is to slow down and keep their distance when they see the dolphins. I mean, obviously you can imagine if a loud noise source is coming unexpectedly towards you, you'd want to get away from it. And it could be said that the dolphins are probably feeling pretty similar. So just slow down and keep your distance. Give them the chance to come to you if they choose to, but also the chance to leave if they're feeling a bit uncomfortable.
One of the first aims of this research is to reassess the number of resident dolphins in particular that we have in the Swan Canning River Park. We're looking at group composition of dolphins. So what that means, it's looking at how many dolphins you have in a group, but also looking at if it's male or female, and if you do have any calf with the females. The reason why I'm taking some biopsy sampling on dolphin is to have a better idea of their genetics.
So Delphine takes a tiny little bit for her genetics work, and I retain the rest and put it into a solution to store it and preserve the genetic material in it for the work that I want to do. We separate off the grey part of the sample, which is the epidermis, and I put that into a storage solution to preserve the DNA and the RNA in it, which I'm getting my information out of, and I separate off the blubber and keep that as well. We can't get up and close to the dolphins to do that sort of thing, so we need to find an indirect measure of their health. So I'm looking for particular chemical markers of stress, immune function, exposure to contaminants, those sorts of things. We're looking at a chemical trail to try and tell us a little bit about what that dolphin is doing health-wise in the skin sample.
So these animals are in an environment that's quite dynamic and it does change. Of course, what we can do is look at monitoring these dolphins and ensure that any risks that they are at, we can basically be seeing how that changes and be managing and protecting the dolphins.
More information, more activities and more times to see the dolphins. That's what we're looking forward to.